Did you know that Cooperative University College of Kenya is a premier public cooperative university in Africa? Enroll now for September 2015 intake for various degree, diploma, and certificate courses. Our e-learning mode is the best, providing an exceptional digital learning experience. Choose the Cooperative University College of Kenya to shape your future. Call us now on 0724 311 606 or download application forms on www.cuck.ac.ke.
Everywhere GBS.
What the children are asking is much more higher than what the father or the mother or the parent for that matter can provide. What do you think will happen? Always they will be like this, isn't it?
Welcome our panelists. Please, let's clap for them as they come. Lucy has a heart of volunteering. Men, please, don't volunteer because of someone, okay?
I hope that you're strong enough to, really follow your dream and not give up on your dream.
Last question.
Can you judge your desires by your instincts?
When you hear people who divorce their wives or their husband, it's because they came to a point whereby they were not able to break their hearts in their lives,
Thank you. Please turn to your neighbor and tell them you're blessed. No, please turn to your neighbor and tell your... No, I didn't say we talk. I say turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor you're blessed. Now turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, you look handsome. Now everyone, now remember, now this is Talk King, the only program where we get to understand the right mindset towards education, towards life, and not towards being successful. And today's topic is amazing. We are doing about desire, and you're so humbled to have won this great mind lecturer by the name of Pastor Wimana. We all know him, we've seen him, and trust me, he has the best knowledge in now talking about desire. So are we all ready to meet him? Yeah. Are we ready to meet him? Yeah. But before that, first things first, remember our SMS line is 211-844. If you feel that you're touched and if you feel that you need to get something, please don't hesitate. You can send in your comments, you can send in your questions to our SMS line, which is 211-844. You can also find us on Facebook, and that is Talk King. Our Twitter handle is @Talk King. So please, let's give our guest a hearty clap as he comes in. Let's clap for him. Let's clap for him. Beautiful.
Nice to meet you, sir.
I'm so humbled. He called me sir. Do I look like a sir? No, do I look like a sir? No, beautiful. So maybe you can tell us what we're expecting.
Okay, today we are talking about something very important, actually. As you know, talking is all about the world of the heart, and today we just identified one topic that is about the desires. So, as you know, desires, all of them, they are actually coming from our hearts, right? And today we want to discuss and know. Now we get to know whether if I live a life of fulfilling my desires, I will be happy, or if I live a life of controlling my desires, that's when I can be happy. And I guess this is something actually that everybody will get to, to learn and to know, and also to conclude about.
Beautiful. Let's clap for him before
we start. That is what we're going to talk about.
Please, you're not clapping. Let's clap for him. Amazing. I know everyone has a desire, but at least we can be able to get from our main lecturer and to hear more about desire. So the stage is all yours.
Okay, thank you so much. So, as you all know, what is desire? Desire actually is, you want things, do you? Yeah, then if, for example, you get everything that you need in your life, will you be happy? There are many people actually who think that, desires is equal to, happiness is equal to having a lot of money. So if you have a lot of money, maybe you think, now everything is okay, everything is fine. But this is not the case. That's what we want to discuss about. And there are many people in the world, actually from every generation to the other generation, they have been talking about this fulfilling desires, following after my flesh desires, whether that will bring happiness or not. All the way from the Bible, from the society, from communities all over the world, they have been discussing about these issues. So that's why today we will be talking about that, and I wish everybody gets to know and to learn how to control his or her desires. So we are saying this, you can't be happy by pursuing desires, but you can be happy by controlling your desires, right? Because actually desires are not, they don't have an end, you know. That means what? Even though you follow after your flesh desire, that means you are taking a journey without an end. Is that so? Yeah, you know, as you know, there is somebody called Bob Marley. I think you know him very well. Does anyone know how to dance reggae music? Yes. How could you know and you are younger? I thought reggae is for those old fellow like me, because I remember Bob Marley died when I was in Form 2. You know, that's a long time ago, right? Most of you were not yet born, I'm very sure, right? Almost everybody here was not yet born. When did he die? Did you know? Do you know? When? Okay, fine. Get to know later. But then something he said, money is numbers, and numbers never end. Is that so? You can count until you don't know how to continue your counts, you know. And if it takes money to be happy, your search for happiness will never end. Is that so? If you think, you know, if I get money, I'll be happy, then surely you have to know that you are on a journey that will never take an end. And that means you'll never be happy just because, you know, money is coming in more and more. And this is exactly what people have been actually experiencing all throughout, you know, all generations. And I think, by the way, if there's a book that speaks about the heart, it's the Bible. And I'm very sure, even in the Bible, God, you know, must have wanted to reveal unto men that it's not just a matter of following after flesh desires, that you can be happy. That's why you know King Solomon, is that so? King Solomon is one of these people in the Bible that got everything that men desire to have. Is that so? Could anyone knowing how many wives he was having? Do you know? Okay, let me ask you, how many wives do you want to have in your life? One is enough, isn't it? Anyone who wants more than one? Oh, you don't, you want more? He says no. Anyway, you know, as you know, men normally they want, you know, they want women, you know. Is that so? So Solomon was given 1,000 of them, right? I mean, he lived that kind of a life following after his flesh desires until he got 1,000 wives, you know. And the Bible says there's nothing that he desired to have. And then he was refused. I mean, he got everything that you might think of that man desires to have. Whatever his heart wanted, he got it. Whatever his eyes showed him, this is good for you, he got it. And eventually he brought a conclusion. He didn't say, I lived a happy life, I lived a fulfilling life, I was very much satisfied because I lived following after my flesh desires, or because all my desires were fulfilled. Instead, there's something he said. He said, vanity of vanities, all is vanity, right? I'm very sure if you read the Bible, I'm very sorry to mention the Bible this time, right? Maybe some of you are not ready to hear about the Bible, but then when you come across this book called Ecclesiastes, indeed you can be able to hear as Solomon, who was actually disillusioned. He used to have illusions. Maybe he thought, if I get this and this, I'll be happy. If I get this and that, I'll be happy. But eventually he came to one conclusion. What did he say? Vanity of vanities, all is vanity, right? And he said it's like just the way you are following after the wind. You know, it's not that you can be happy because you have this and that. And of course, as you know, right, in our lives, desires will always be, you know, what? Grow bigger and bigger. Is that so? Maybe when you were young, when somebody would give you a candy, you would be happy. When somebody give you a biscuit, you would be happy. Is that so? But then today, I'm not sure whether there's anyone who's going to be happy because he's given what? A biscuit. You know, what's a biscuit? Maybe that's what you have to say. Is that so? Right now, what you are asking from your parents is even much bigger than maybe what they can provide unto you. That's why there will be a lot of conflicts once in a while. You know, in between you and your mom, in between you and your dad, you know. That problem will be there. So anyway, he got everything. I'm saying, you know, once a kid is born, or is at the age of 2 or 3, if you give a toy, they will be very happy. They will be overjoyed. But then when it comes to the age of 10, they will be asking for maybe that, tool or that, machine to play, some sophisticated kind of games. After that, like your age, you're asking laptops. Anyone who doesn't have a laptop among you? Am I asking an obvious question? Yeah, you are looking, I need a laptop. How can my father or my mother let me go to school or to college without a laptop, you know? I mean, this is a necessity. Maybe that's what you are saying. Is that so? But then that's maybe something they cannot afford to provide unto you. And later on, you'll be asking for cars, right? So that means what? Desire continuously increase. So there's no end actually. If you get something that you wanted to have, you know, eventually 1 or 2 months later or 1 week later, you are looking for some other things. You are demanding even more. So that's why we say it's not that you can be happy. This is something that you have to come upon continuously. You can never be happy simply because your desires are being fulfilled or accomplished continuously. Instead, you have to do what? To control your desires, you know, and that the time you can be happy. You know, I want to say, like, compare, for example, these two communities. I just took a picture of pictures of old communities. Those people who lived long time ago. They didn't have, you know, nice buildings like skyscrapers. Those are good apartments. They didn't have, you know, good gardens which are very well prepared. They didn't have, you know, means of communications as men, as good and sophisticated as we have today. They didn't really have those things. But then they seem to be more happier. That's all. That's why, you know, when you check, you can think about people who used to commit suicide back then and people are committing suicide today. You know, you can find out there is a very big difference. In as much as people get things, their desires are not fulfilled even more. So you can understand very well. It's not that, you know, when, you know, your income is increasing, when, for example, you know, you get more things than you used to have, that doesn't mean that you're going to be happy for that. Instead, sometimes this makes you to be even more miserable, you know. So even if it's food, you know food, right? It will taste differently depending on whether you are full or hungry. That's all. Likewise, you know, happiness depends on the position where your mind or your heart is. Are we together? Depending on the level, depending on the position where your heart, your mind is, you can be happy, not depending on the things that you have, you know. Yes, I'm very sure, if, for example, if there's something good that is supposed to be eaten in this place, those who enjoy more are people who are hungry than others. Is that so? If you're hungrier, food becomes tastier. Is that so? I'm very sure everybody is agree with me, right? Because we eat every day. But then, if you are full, even something delicious does not seem to be delicious. Is that so? I ask people, you know, for example, now you have 5 bananas to be eaten, right? You are really hungry and you have your 5 bananas, right? The first banana seems to be sweeter than the second one. Is that so? Is not true? And the second banana seems to be sweeter than the third one. Is that so? The third seems to be sweeter than the fourth one. Is that so? And sometimes even you may forsake the 5th one because, you know, you don't need any more. Is that so? Or else, you know, there are people even, they may eat until they start now to vomit. In the beginning, you enjoyed, but the same banana which is tasted the same way, you know, the number 1 banana will be delicious, but number 2, number 3, you know, until actually you don't need of it even, you know. So you have to understand, it's not that, you know, the position where your heart is as well, or the position where your stomach is. Are you hungry or are you full? Even though I bring nyama choma and ugali, the best food that you like, I don't know what, right? If your stomach is full, I think you're going to say, no, I don't think I need this. Is that so? Why? Not because of anything else, because already you are full. Also, in the same way, in as much as you're trying to put things in your heart, it's not that you can be happy, but it will depend on whether your heart is at the lowest position or not. If your heart is high, in as much as you get things, much more even desires come, and you are frustrated even more. So, you know, this is a relationship now with your parents, right? Is that so? I'm very sure each and everybody wants things from their parents. Is that so? Of course, you are young. If you are not young, maybe you are a parent. Is anyone who's a parent like me? Yes. Me, I'm a parent, and, you know, My son was asking me, Father, you know, he goes to school like you people. He's in college. So he said to me, I need 6,000 Kenya shilling per month. If I'm not able to provide 6,000, then that will be a problem. Is that so? Let's say I'm able only to provide 2,000. What do you think will happen? We'll be in conflicts always, right? My father does not love me. My father does not give. While actually I give the maximum that I can provide. Is that so? So we are saying what? This is the parent's ability. It's much higher than what the children are demanding. Much more higher than what the children are desiring to have. Then these people definitely will be, in a good relationship. Children will be satisfied. Even parents will be also satisfied because they can provide easily to what children are looking for. But if this is the opposite, let's say, for example, this kind of relationship, what the children are asking is much more higher than what the father or the mother or the parent, for that matter, can provide. What do you think will happen? Always they will be like this, isn't it? Give me, give me, give me, give me. And then what will you say as a parent or a mother? No, I'm very sorry. I've given all that I could give you. But will they believe you, do you think? No, right? Maybe among you, those who have conflicts with their parents, you must know maybe sometimes the reason could be this. There are other reasons as to why children cannot be in good terms with their parents. But basically, this is one of the reasons, When whatever you demand and you ask from your parents is not satisfied, what do you think will happen? You feel like as if your parents are being selfish and mean. If you think your parents are mean, can you raise up your hand? Frankly, my parents are mean. No one wants to say. Your parents, if you think my parents are really generous, they give me more than even they can provide. I mean, more than they can. Oh, am I talking to people? Okay, anyway, keep your answers to yourself. Always don't have parents, do you? Do you have parents, by the way? If you have parents, raise up your hands then. I have parents. Okay, right? Oh, keep on your hands high, right? So keep your hands high if you feel like my parents are providing enoughly. I think parents in Kenya are so great. Thank you so much, I think you should be thankful before your parents because now they are doing what they are doing their best to provide unto you whatever you need. Is that so? So anyway, if that's the case, right, your parents are not able to provide as much as you ask, there will be a lot of, problem. And this gap here will bring a lot of frustrations, in your relationship, You are going to count them as mean. They will count you as somebody who always wants, who's always falling after their desires. So you won't have any relationship whatsoever which is actually good. There will be always a problem. But something very important, relationship between income and satisfaction of desires, So we say the reason why people are not happy though the income is higher compared to the past. Because actually, when you think about teachers, when you think about, nurses or doctors, when you think about, their income, it's increasing over the years. Is that so? Is that so? Even I heard teachers will be having an increment of salary of how many percentages? 60. Is that so? 60 means it's more than even double. But then, do you think they'll be happier? I don't think so. So we are saying the reason why, people are not happy, though the income is growing higher, compared to the past, is because of the desire that surpasses. They go beyond the increase rate of the income. Therefore, we need to increase self what? Self what? Yeah. You have to control and, control actually your desires. It has to be done in that way. The car has got an engine, but also the car has got what? The braking system. Is that so? The car which has got an engine which runs very fast but doesn't have, a brake system, that's a very dangerous car. It's as good as a coffin because eventually it will kill you. Is that so? It's rushing very fast. You should be able to have the braking system to control and stop it. In the same way, in as much as the income is increasing, it does not mean that you're going to be happier, but you can be happy as you increase in this skill of controlling yourself. So look, for example, these are three kinds of people, right? The blue bar represents the income, the red one represents the desire, right? This is just on individual basis. Let's say this person A, what's your name, sir? Kevin, yes. Kevin is type A. That means what? This is his income and this is his desire. Definitely Kevin will be what? Will be a happy man. That's all. He has more than money that he can even save. Yes, he gains, let's say he gains 50,000 and he can only spend 30,000, let's say, per month. He's going to be happy. But let's say it's the opposite. And what's your name, madam? Mercy is the opposite, right? The opposite of Kevin. Mercy has got this income, right? But his desire is this high, right? What do you think will happen with Mercy? She's going to be frustrated so much. There are these people who always live on debts, right? At the end of the month, they have to pay only, right? Until even they cannot pay as much as they have spent in 1 month. Have you ever met such people? They borrow money to pay money to others, right? These people really live a frustrated life. And if your income and your expenditures, or your desires for that matter, is the same, I'm very sure also you want to live a happy life either. So, no one can satisfy flesh desires, so they should be kept under control. We have many sinful impulses that are arising within our brain. Some people say that we have 20,000 thoughts that are crossing our minds, and most of them are these sinful impulses that are controlling us. And, as people live following after that, they can only live a miserable life. These are the teachings of the Bible, especially Galatians talks about the works of the flesh, which are manifest, and there are these: adultery, fornications, uncleanness, lasciviousness, idolatry. All those things actually are really things which are born within our heads, and they drag us. So here is the reason for that, The Apostle Paul says something very important. Why really people live in sin? Why they live not satisfied, even though they try to fulfill their flesh desires here and there. The Apostle Paul, there's sin in man. So he say it's no longer. So you can be able to see something very important. What he wanted to do, he cannot do that because there is sin which is dwelling in man. In other words, sin makes man not to be satisfied. And if you come to the light, you can live indeed a light life. And this light is not anybody else. This is Jesus. Do you have a solution for your desires? This is a question I'm asking to you. Do you have a solution for your desires? If no, or if yes, there is also a reason to that. If no, you are still in sin. You have to know that sinners can never be happy, even though they want to be happy. But, if yes, then you are not a sinner anymore. Maybe you became righteous. So I can only say that righteous people, they are in the light. And because they are in the light, they can live, a happy life. Jesus said, He's the light. And if we walk with the people who lives in the light, then we can be also in the light. So Ecclesiastes, actually I'm almost at the end. Ecclesiastes, we have, King Solomon again, who came to say, he wanted to speak about the conclusion of the things that he had experienced in life. He said what? Let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. That is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13. He said, fear God and keep his commandments, for that is the whole duty of man. Are we together? I'm very sorry I had to rush quickly. But you have to know, yes, indeed, as man lives a life to fear God and to keep his commandment, that man indeed is not going to fulfill his flesh desires. Instead, he's going to live a very happy life. In fact, your flesh desires guides you into a sinful life. And how can you control that? You can only control that as you are able to meet God and Jesus in your life. Then you can live a happy, fulfilled, and satisfied life. Unless that, then you can only be a miserable person, you know. There are many, you know, check actually in the whole history. More people with more money than not people who are having more happiness. Is that so? Yeah. It's not that they're going to be happy because they have money. It's not because when they have this and that, they're going to be happy. Even such people who seem to be, you know, having many things in this world, they're the most miserable people ever, you know. I had an example, but I don't know whether I can give it. You know, this is somebody who was actually building an estate. And as you know, when you have to build 100 houses, you are not just anyone. You are somebody with a lot of money. Is that so? You are a billionaire, in fact. Is that so? But then, you know, this man found one carpenter who was employed on his, you know, construction site. As you know, carpenters, they do what? As they hit nails, they keep some of the nails in their hair, right? Have you ever seen them? They put nail here because they want actually to use it, you know. They want to remove and you hit it somewhere, or they keep their pencil here, you know, as they move around. But then this man found one of the carpenters who was going home with some nails in the hair and some of, you know, pencils which belong to the owner on the ear. Is that so? Yeah, this man was sacked. Why do you steal my nails? Did he steal the nails really? No, right? So in other words, even though they have money, they want even more. They can never be happy because of that. So in other words, that's what we are saying. It's very important for you to learn self-control more than trying always and continuously, you know, trying to bring and fulfill your flesh desires. They never have an end. How can you be happy? You'll only be happy if you learn self-control. And this is very important. So I really guess that all of us, you know, we can only live a happy life if we come to learn what we call what? Self-control. Are you good in self-control? Are you poor in self-control? If you are poor in controlling yourself, that means you are living always following after your what? Your flesh. You are being dragged continuously until sometime you realize you've done the things that you never wanted to do. And you say, if only I knew, right? Yeah, exactly. I gave you the example of Judah. Judah is such a person that was controlled by the devil until he saw Jesus. The Bible says he regretted, he was remorseful. He even had to return the 30 pieces of silver. Yes, he did everything, but it was meaningless. What you have to know, indeed, you know, we are being controlled, and we are controlled by what? By those flesh desires. As you are controlled, we cannot live a happy life, even though you'll have to fulfill those desires. In fact, most of the time, listen to me, most of the time, when you fulfill your desires, you are happy just, you know, for a short period of time, right? For a short period of time only you are going to be happy. But after that, that happiness vanishes away, right? That's why Solomon said, just vanity of vanities. Everything is vanity. That means what? When he gets some of the things he wanted to get, you know, he's happy, but after that, that happiness vanishes away. That's why he has to look for something else, right? The Bible says, if you have time, you can read also, you know, it's in the book of Jeremiah chapter 2, verse 13, you know, says, my people have committed 2 evils. Is that so? One, they have forsaken me, the fountain of living water. Meaning what? God himself is the fountain of our joy, our happiness, our peace, our rest. Right? So as I forsake God, man who forsook God, he can never have peace, he cannot have joy, he cannot have any happiness whatsoever. As much as man is trying to, you know, do ABCD here and there, he won't be happy anymore. So, in other words, you know, we have to know, it's not that you can be happy as you are fulfilling your flesh desires, but you can be happy when you do what? When you do what? You control your desires, and that is something that is very, very important. Human beings actually are being fooled and cheated continuously. You know, I think, you know, Satan is able to show you something and you follow along. Let me see, let me follow, let me follow, let me follow. As you follow along, it's not that you can be happy. You only reach a point whereby you are, you know, disillusioned, you are, you know, frustrated, and you become so miserable in your life. In fact, you know, you can check your heart, right? Whether your heart is really satisfied or whether your heart is empty. And you have to know, why is my heart empty? Why am I not satisfied? How, despite the things that I got and received in my life, how come, you know, my life remained this much? I mean, this way, miserable. It's not because of any other reason. It's because, yes, indeed, in as much as you're trying to fulfill your flesh desires, you won't be happy at all. That's why, you know, as you live day by day controlling your life, right? Then happiness will do what? Will just come in your life. So thank you so much. I wanted to speak about this topic of desires, and I hope you got something. Did you learn something, by the way? Yes. Okay, thank you so much.
Clap for him once again. Now, you see, I always have a problem when people are clapping because we don't clap from our heart. We desire to clap from our heart, but we clap from our hands. So please, let's clap for him once again. Whoa, whoa, whoa. So we're about to go now to the second session where we get now the panelists. And today we are so blessed to have only two now panelists. Now that is the guest of today. And we have a beautiful, beautiful lady from all the way from California who's going to be one of our panelists. So please, let's put our hands together as we welcome our panelists. Please, let's clap for them as they come. No, let's clap for them until they get to sit down. Do you want to know what their desire is? Now, should we start with the desire or the introduction? Men only. Yes. What do you want to know? Introduction first. Yeah. So maybe you can introduce yourself and tell us where you're from and your desire again.
Hi, everybody. Is this working?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay. My name is Lucy, and I'm from the United States. I am from the beautiful state of California, and I'm here in Kenya for the next few months as a volunteer. Back in the States, I am a school teacher, and I've been teaching for over 10 years. And I've also been volunteering around the world for the past 10 years. I've had the pleasure of going to many different countries around the world, and my passion is to help others, and I have a special interest in helping the youth because I really believe that our youth is our future.
Whoa, whoa, let's clap for her. Man, I know she has not answered what you wanted to hear, but definitely that's okay. We're going to do that another time. So please, do you want him to introduce himself again? Yes. Okay, so maybe you can introduce yourself.
So, good afternoon. So, I think you know me, right? But anyway, I'm Pastor Uwimana, and I'm a pastor from Good News Mission Church. And also, I'm a lecturer in the Bible College, Manheim Bible College. And as well, I'm a mentor. I have many youngsters that I mentor, and in fact, you know, I like to live together with young people. Just as Lucy said, they are our hope, right? Whenever I meet young people, I say to them, you are the cream of the society. Do you believe so? Now, as the cream of the society, I mean you are the best in the country of Kenya. And if you have the right mind, then Kenya also is very much hopeful. So I'm very, very happy to be part of you this afternoon.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. That's a beautiful introduction. Let us clap for him. Now the discussion, or rather now the topic of discussion has been desire. So maybe you can tell us something about how do you control yourself towards, or rather achieving the right desire that someone has in life.
Well, I think when you have a desire, you have to distinguish, is this a pure desire, or is this a desire that may just be satisfying a very superficial desire? So, for instance, when I was young, a lot of people said, you know, Lucy, you're really smart, go be a doctor, go be a lawyer, go do something that makes a lot of money. And for me, that wasn't my desire, because my desire was to help children who went through struggles just like myself, because my parents were refugees from Vietnam. So growing up, we didn't have many things, and there was a struggle, and I felt that education was the way to rise up in society. And so now that I have accomplished a lot in my own education, I felt that the desire is to really help others that are less fortunate and to help people in vulnerable communities. So that to me was my pure desire that really came from my heart, from God. And so that's how you identify your desire. You know, do you want a desire that will only satisfy you for a moment, or do you want a desire that will fulfill you for a lifetime? So to distinguish between a pure desire or a desire of the flesh.
No, maybe you can tell us if, no, what do you think? Is there a right or wrong desire in life?
Okay, I'll put it this way, right? When we speak about right or good desires, let us call it maybe a good dream, a vision. Is that so? And then when you want to fulfill the desire of the flesh, actually you want more than you need. That we call it a desire. Is that so? Of course, I know everybody needs to be loved and to love. Is that so? That's a basic need. You need food, you need clothes, and you need money on, on a certain level. But then when you want more than you need, then we speak about a desire. Is that so? When we spoke about Solomon, for example, yes, of course, one man, one woman. This is a very beautiful relationship that came from God alone. Is that so? But then when a man or a woman wants more than one, then that becomes what? A desire. And he won't be happy because of that, Kevin, right?
Right.
Some times back, I think that was last week, I met one man, and this man I was trying actually to interact with him, and I was speaking about the word of God. And he told me, what, Pastor, me, the issues of, being frustrated by a woman, I've done away with it. And I asked him, what is the secret, He told me, I married a second wife. So when this brings a problem, I go to the second one. When the second one brings a problem, I go to. So I said, you are a wrong person. We didn't have enough time to speak, but then when you hear people who divorced their wives or their husband, it's because they came to a point whereby they were not able to break their hearts in their lives. I need to break my heart before my wife. She also needs to break her heart before me. When it comes to the time when we don't agree on one issue, I'll have to break my heart, and then we can be able to continuously live together. But then if everybody becomes the right person, I'm right, I'm right, I'm right, there's no way people can live together. Is that so? Actually, Lucy spoke about something that is very important, the heart to volunteer. Is that so? Who actually volunteers himself? This is somebody who has experienced the joy to give and not the joy to receive. Is that so? Maybe you can think in your heart, which joy is greater than the other? Is it the joy to give or the joy to receive? Is that so? Them that enjoy giving, they can volunteer and they can give themselves for others. And also, all great leaders in the whole world, they had, the heart to serve others and not to be served. Is that so? That heart to serve other people, that heart to give, not to receive, is indeed a dream, right? And people who actually live a life of serving others, they are happy and they are great indeed. But then people who are just like, who are like low-class kind of people, let me call them that way, right? They just live trying to fulfill their desires, trying to receive always, always, always. Yet, they will never be satisfied. So that's what I wanted to say.
Whoa, that's a powerful message. Let's clap for him. If I'm wrong, I beg to be now corrected, but Pastor said one thing, that Lucy has a heart of volunteering. Men, please, don't volunteer because of someone, okay? Volunteer because you want to. I'm not necessarily just talking about him, but everyone, right? This is where we go to the question and answer time. So I will ask this, if maybe you have a question to either now Lucy or Pastor. Let's clap for her, please.
My name is Esther. I would like to ask Lucy a question. Lucy, obviously you look so young. Do you get any challenges in whatever you do?
Well, maybe before you answer that, I think I'll just have to take 2 more questions so that we can just answer them. Anyone with a question?
Okay, I'm Ambrose. I'm asking, can you judge your desires by your instincts?
Maybe, Lucy, you can start by what she asked you before Pastor takes us through.
The answer sometimes depends on the context, because I think challenges that women face in Kenya may be different from challenges in America. But I can speak personally. I think, you know, as a woman, there are challenges because you often get judgment. So for instance, sometimes if you know, you're at a certain age, for example, if you're in your 20s, then people, they start to wonder, why aren't you married yet? You should be married. You're 23, you're 24. And then once you're married at 25, then they'll ask, why don't you have children yet? You should have children. What's wrong with you? And then at my age, I'm 35, and so I'm married, and I don't have children, and obviously I'm in a different country, far away from my husband, and so I get a lot of judgment. Like, what woman would leave her husband for so long? What woman would not have children yet at the age of 35? And so I get those type of challenges, and I just have to understand that in my heart I know I'm doing the right thing. God gave me many talents, and he gave me a burden of my heart to go help others overseas, and I just have to listen and understand that that's my commitment in life. And I'm happily married. I don't have children, but I'm very happy, and I know that I'm doing the right thing. So as a woman, the challenge is that people may judge you based on your choices, but I hope that you're strong enough to, you know, really follow your dream and not give up on your dream. Sure, dreams can change, and you know, but you're the person in control of who changes your dreams. If your dream is to travel around the world at the age of 35 and not have children yet, if you are happy with following your dream, then you go for it.
Right.
Thank you.
Please, that's a beautiful, beautiful. Pastor, so maybe you can just answer now the 2 questions.
Yeah,
and then
I'm not sure what kind of desires Kevin, you are Kevin, right? What kind of desires Kevin was thinking about? Is it desire for more food, more sleep, more women? Is that what you are thinking about?
No, it is good to be honest, Kevin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let him speak his heart out, yeah?
Okay, personally, I usually desire to live a good life, have like a personal car, such like have a good family. Yeah, kind of.
Good car, good family, enough money, isn't it?
Beautiful
Yeah,
wife.
lot of money,
beautiful
beautiful wife, everything okay. Yeah, thank you.
Yes, indeed, I guess you understood what he meant. It's all about flesh desires. Is that so, right? But you know, Kevin, there's something very important. What is a good car, for example? What is a good bed, for example? What is good food, for example? Have you ever asked yourself that question, right? What's a good wife, right? Have you ever asked yourself, because you have dream, you say, okay, I want a good car, I want enough money. What money is enough for you, for example, right? You know, let's say you have a very nice bed. Let's say your bed is a 6 by 6 with a Slumberland kind of a mattress. Is that so? Have you ever heard about Slumberland mattress? You people? Yes. But then if your heart is having many problems, even if you are sleeping in that bed, you won't be happy. You won't even get a sleep. Is that so? But then let's say you are seated there and you are sleeping and you take a rest. So which bed is better? Where you are seated and you are having a sleep and you are resting. Is that so? There are some needs and there are desires. You need a wife. That's obvious. Is that so? You need a family. That's okay. You need some money. You need clothes. You need. Is that so? But then when you ask or you want more than you need, that is what it becomes what? A desire. And even though you are following after that, it doesn't mean that you're going to be happy. So in other words, you have to prioritize the way she said. This is I need. Not only for myself, maybe even for other people around me, right? But then after that, when you go beyond what you need, that becomes a desire, right? And those desires will never make you happy, even though they were actually satisfied, you know. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay, thank you.
Whoa, let's clap for him. Of course, that brings us to the end of the show. But before we end, please, I'll give you, because of time, I'll give you 30 seconds to give us your parting shot.
Ooh, this is a lot of pressure. We've talked a lot about desire and dreams today, and all I can say is that we all have dreams and we all have desires. And what I really appreciate about being here in Kenya is that most of the families that I've worked with in Githurai, they may not have a lot, but I see them smiling every day. And I see a lot of gratitude. They're grateful for what they have. And, you know, being from America, sometimes I do see that people have money. They do have cars and homes, but they just want a better car. They just want a bigger home. They just want a better this or more of that. They have an iPhone, but they want the latest one. And I just see that level of insatiability doesn't lead to fulfillment. So I think one parting thing I would like to say is that gratitude and being thankful for what we have is a big part of feeling fulfilled.
Right,
Thank
please,
you.
let's clap for her. So, Pastor, you have your 30 seconds starting.
Thank you so much. I think she brought actually a very good and beautiful conclusion. It's not that when you have more things, you can be happy. Is that so? Those communities back in America, back in Europe, in those other developed countries, they are not happier because they have more things than we do here. Is that so? So in other words, you know, we will be happy always as we live a life of controlling our desires and being thankful for what we are and what we have. So that is actually what I wanted to say. And indeed, the Bible says, be contented with what you have. So I'm very thankful, and also I hope, you know, we are keeping on learning about our hearts continuously.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, that brings us to the end of the show. But remember, if you have any questions or any comments, our SMS line is 211-444. You can also just follow us on Facebook, and our Facebook page is called Talk King Now TV show. Remember, we also have a Twitter handle that is @TalkKing. And this show will have not been amazing without students from Mahanaim Institute. Please clap for yourselves once again. And once again, let's clap for those people who asked the questions, like Mr. Kevin. Let's clap for him, please. And not forgetting our panelists. So please, let's give them a hearty clap. And again, this show will have not been a success without you, our viewer, back at home. Remember, I will leave you with this. Now, the purpose of life is not to serve yourself alone. Please live a life of serving others, and with that, you will get rest in your heart. Till next time, it's a goodbye from us. And which show was this? No, and which show was this? Till next time, it's a wrap from us.
So today's topic, it's all about the heart of a man.
He who trusts in his heart is a fool. Why? Because your heart is dirty and only evil, yet you trust in your heart.
It's important to care about people, about how people see us, because we have a nature of wanting to please and to impress.
I can only get the right wisdom to know myself if I'm using the mirror, or else the eyes of God.
Should I, compare that which they tell me with what God says? So I really want to get the light on that.
You don't have to take everything from everyone. Someone can be talking about you or talking to you.
Did you know that Cooperative University College of Kenya is a premier public cooperative university in Africa? Enroll now for September 2015 intake for various degree, diploma and certificate courses. Our e-learning mode is the best, providing an exceptional digital learning experience. Choose the Cooperative University College of Kenya to shape your future. Call us now on 0724 311 606 or download application forms on www.cuck.ac.ke.
Everywhere GBS.